The 40 f2.
Indeed.
So we've had this about a month now. We both got it on Nikon refurbished for an amazing price of £215.
We did.
We've just got back from London.
We have.
And we had 2 days doing street photography. Well, I used the 40 f2 with my ZF.
Yep.
And what did you use?
Leica Q2.
Ah, what lens is that on it?
That's 28mm 1.7.
Show off.
I'd used the 40 f2 at a car meet the previous week. Really enjoyed it, actually. And did want to take it, but I just thought I need 28mm. I need it to be wider.
Yeah. But in the middle of that, we tried to make the whole video of the 40 f2 while we were in London.
Yeah.
And we did a few little bits. Good. Ah.
Is it actually recording?
Yeah.
You remembered?
Yeah.
Well done.
Well, as you can see, this is London in the background. We're on tour, so
Yeah.
I suppose we should say we don't live in London.
We don't live in London.
Yeah.
We live in the Midlands of the UK.
Yes.
Not London.
We live about an hour's train drive away from London, and well, we thought we'd come here to do the main test, which we're filming on now because you can't see it. It's the 40 f2
Indeed.
on my ZF. I've been using it around the street, and I found it a bit too
Tight.
Yeah, really, I need something 35. Depends what kind of street photography you're going for, because if you want more contextual, you want it to be wider.
Yeah.
But I like doing kind of on-the-go portraits, a bit more isolated.
Yeah.
Get that shallow depth of field down a bit, just to see. I'm experimenting really, because I don't know how
But
it's
you
going to
did
turn out.
find it a bit too narrow.
Yeah, in close quarters, when things are happening in front of you, shooting from the hip,
Yeah.
it's too tight.
Yeah.
It's hard to find the composition.
So yeah, so I've got 28mm, you've got the 40.
Yeah, and in a way I regret not going a bit wider, but it's a review of the lens. It's not the lens's fault, it's 40. It's choosing my application for it.
I mean, they say that the human eye sees it around about 50mm, don't they?
I think it's about 40 actually.
Is it? So
to
me, they all looked very sort of nice. Can't think of the word, but
nice compositions.
Yeah, but it also the right sort of focal range.
Right. Okay.
I just liked the results.
It's the sharpness. When it comes to sharpness, it isn't the most sharpest lens at f2, especially using the minimal focal distance. When you're shooting close up, the quality sharpness compared to other lenses I've used, it's really soft.
Okay.
It has heavy vignetting.
And often with sharpness tests, comparing it to the 51.8 it's got a lot to live up to. And you can see how insanely sharp the 51.8 is. But it's shooting from the same position on the tripod. It is night and day. The 51.8 is insane. Let's stop the 40 down to f2.8. And it still can't compete. Maybe f4 will. Yeah, I would say the 40 f2 at f4 is about the same as a 50.
Whereas I find I've been happily shooting at f2 actually around London, because unless you're really cropping in and want that really clinical sharpness, you don't really, it's sharp enough.
Yeah. And I'd just like to make a comment there, if that's okay.
Well,
So,
that's good.
if anybody's not sure which one of us is the older one, it's actually me. So, and because my eyes are older than yours, you have all this like, critical sharpness. I thought the 40mm f2 photos, because I taught last week, are plenty sharp for what I don't have an issue with it at all.
Yeah. But then I compared it to the Viltrox 35, and it's similar. Even my Brighton Star 0.95 is sharper than this lens 40. Yeah. One of the best things about this lens is the minimal focal distance is so shallow. So it says 29 centimetres.
You're so MFD.
Yeah.
Well,
I've actually found it's about 25 centimetres.
I never even think about what the minimal focal. I don't know why. What do you use this minimal focal distance for?
To take pictures of coffee in front of you. Yeah.
Right, crucial.
But no, I do a bit of photography teaching now and again, and my student really loves the 40 f2 because it's like a semi-macro. You can take pictures of flowers and right in front of you. Then you can also do street. You can also do portraits. It's kind of a multi-tool, and that's really I do find the minimal focal distance useful.
This is 100% crop, so it's going to be a bit soft, but it just shows you how close you can get. So when you crop in to 100%, you can see a massive difference from shooting at 2.8 to f2.
Biggest features, it's small, light, pancake, so when you're sticking it, when we are carrying it around, doing something like today, it's a nice lens to carry.
That's one of the main features. It's so light. I hate carrying heavy lenses on a long day in London in the heat or something like that. I wouldn't want to do it. But it's fully plastic construction though, not weather sealed. Even the mount is plastic. Yeah. But that makes it ultra light.
Fine. It makes it cheap and light.
I was saying to you yesterday, maybe I wish I had the 28 2.8 pancake lens for this as well.
Well, there's a 28 1.7, mate, with a separate macro modes, just to put your MFD mind at rest.
But that's a 2.8, so doing portraits at 2.8.
Yeah, I think 2.8, but what is this portraits business?
I'm just so used to doing it,
on the street.
Yeah, I like the idea of it. Your family or loved ones or partner, and you want to do portraits like with the backdrop here, then I think being able to switch to portrait, having like a 1.7 or to f2 is really nice to blow out the background if you want that look. I found the focus absolutely fine. I've seen no difference between this and my other lenses with autofocus. I can't see any difference in daylight. Okay, so there we go. You'll see lots of footage and photos of our examples we've got so far. We don't really know what we've got. We haven't really been
If they're all rubbish, you won't see much footage whatsoever.
We might be impressed. We might have so many photos to put in this slideshow.
I doubt it.
However, now we're back. I said a few things that I've changed my mind on, because I said that the 40 was a bit too narrow and a bit too long. But looking at my results, I'm really happy with the results now.
Ooh, okay.
I guess if I was going to choose an ideal lens, it would be 35mm.
Right.
I did a poll last night actually on our YouTube channel.
Did you?
Yeah.
You didn't tell me about that, did you?
I snuck it. Yeah, and most people said 35. But it's a complete plethora of choices.
Yeah.
People took zooms.
If it's people, it's shooting from the hip, really.
Right.
When it's like a building, architecture, landscape or something, then you take the time to,
That sums it up really well. So yeah, we were kind of just shooting casually, because I don't want people to think they're being photographed, because it changes the way they are, they look.
And you're having to assume that your fantastic Z8i face autofocus is going to get them.
Yeah.
See? And did it?
Well, I'd say 40% of the time it didn't.
40%?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think, well, it depends. It liked to focus on anything that was closer.
Right,
so
right.
Even though I had it on people eye detect, if something was even in the periphery, it would go to that first, and then go to the person.
And of course, because you're shooting from down here or there or whatever,
I can't.
You don't know. So the difference is when I'm doing it, it's 500th of a second, f8 zone focuses. So pretty much everything from probably round about 2 meters or just over to infinity is in focus. In the evening, as things start, the light starts to go, it's harder.
My favourite photos of when it went the storm with the street photography. I think it was amazing to see all the people sheltering and running for cover, and the reflections and everything like that. It really came to life.
We had one woman dancing in the rain, didn't we? Which was a bit mental.
Yeah. And I managed, and there's a photo of mine where I didn't even notice in the background there's a guy just standing there watching. So like with a 51.8, for example, you have, with that sharpness, you also get a lot of texture and image rendition. So when you crop in, you can see it all and it becomes more lifelike. If you've got a softer lens that doesn't do that, maybe you're missing out on some things, on that texture.
I think, you're not taking professional wedding photos here, which you've just been doing earlier on today.
Yeah.
So
hence why
I think
I'm so smart.
Street is about its composition and content, isn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Yes, you want it to be sharp, partly because that will help you crop in anyway.
Yeah. One of the good things about this is that it doesn't have much distortion. So a lot of, again, cheaper lenses of the Z mount range have heavy distortion when you're taking someone's portrait, and this is really well contained. Because I hate dealing with distortion. My wedding lens that I used, my 28 1.4, is amazing and beautiful and sharp, but I know I can't use it too close to the subject because it has a horrible distortion, and Lightroom doesn't sort it out for me properly.
Right.
I think that's the main feature of it, is it's small, light and discreet. I mean, some people, and cheap.
You killed me walking around London for 2 days. I couldn't walk for 3 days after.
You could barely walk on the second day.
God, I'm dragging behind. So it took us forever to get anywhere.
Because I was trying to shoot at f2 or 2.8 to try and get street photography with some depth of field. I was quite happy with the results of that.
I had one or two that weren't a little bit of movement in them because it was later in the day, so I couldn't shoot at 500th. There's the one on mine of two women, one looking at the other one's phone, and that's not that sharp, but it's still an interesting photo. So you sort of, well, okay, I'll put up with it.
Yeah. I also played around with the shutter speed, so I like slow shutter speed when the train's going by.
Yeah, that was.
I also did it with the guy with the most interesting guy we've seen, with the one that cafe out.
Yeah, I saw that. That was effective. I like that.
And I stood outside on slow shutter speed, but I just let people try and walk around it, so he was framed.
Yeah, no, that was good.
A really enjoyable experience.
It was great.
Yeah,
great couple of days, and we were looking with the weather.
And well, yeah. See you next time.
See you next time.